Buon pomeriggio a tutte e tutte e a tutti. Continuano i nostri appuntamenti con i registi protagonisti delle competizioni di Lago Film Fest 2021. Oggi siamo davvero felici di aver qui con noi Ollie Magee, spero di averlo pronunciato nel modo giusto, regista di Nod Wink Horse, cortometraggio in competizione Nuovi Segni, che potrete vedere in presenza durante il Lago Film Fest 2021, ma anche online. Questa intervista sarà in inglese, quindi intanto vi ringraziamo per il tempo, insomma, per seguirci durante questa bellissima intervista. Hi Ollie, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Thank you so much.
translator.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. We are so happy to be able to talk with you about your film. As a first step, I would ask you to explain your film in a few words.
Ooh. It's I guess it's quite a self-destructive film in that I'm sort of working through my own self-doubt during the production of this film, and the result is this sort of odd narrative that seems to destroy itself almost as you're watching it. There's this horse character who I was very attached to and couldn't let go, and he sort of devoured the rest of the film. He sort of gets in the way and destroys a lot of it. So it was sort of coming to terms with, my own issues with filmmaking and what I was going through at that time. So it was sort of self-reflexive, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So your film evokes a very specific imagery. So I'm really curious to know how the idea for the film came about, and what did you want to communicate through it?
So yeah, like I say, there's this big horse in the way, and it's sort of absurd and a bit silly, and but the way that came about, like I said, I was working through this quite conventional narrative to begin with when I started making this film. I should say as well, the film is my graduation film from the Royal College of Art in London, and so we've got this set amount of time you've got to make something, right? And so part of that was sort of instilled this panic within me that I have to make something special. And I've always struggled with filmmaking, a lot of the aspects of filmmaking, especially in pre-production, coming up with scripts and storyboarding and all of this. I find it sort of dilutes my ideas almost. Again, I was struggling with all of that. And I had these odd characters, these people in the cafe, these people having a conversation. And these are all parts of this sort of more conventional narrative. But I also had this horse character. And I sort of really loved this horse character. And I didn't want to get rid of him. And he became this huge burden on the story, and something I didn't want to let go. And eventually I just had this moment where I said, okay, you know what, I'm keeping this horse, and he's gonna, in spite of everything else, he's gonna be there front and center, and let him sort of ruin the film. So that was it. It was sort of a film about the film itself, the production of the film, and me sort of spiraling into madness during the production. And so that's the end result. Very absurd, but I hope it's sort of I hope it's funny for a start, but I hope it's also something interesting about narrative, in that there's something there, but it's been covered up. And so I just like that idea that you sort of build something and then you sort of tear it down and you see what's sort of left, and you sort of build something from the remains, So,
yeah. See how you said initially the film had I read about this, had a much more conventional narrative, in a way a totally different film. So I don't know, I want to know what the horse want to hide or block.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like an evil horse. He doesn't have any intention. He just happens to be there. So you're asking what is behind the horse?
Or if.
Mm, yeah. I mean, I don't want to explain what's happening behind the horse because there is stuff there, and there's a lot of animation that went on that gets blocked in the end, which is hard to do. But that original narrative was it was still quite experimental. It was these people having a conversation and these other people observing the conversation. But like I say, I really struggled with it, so I didn't really know where it was going or what to do with it. And so the horse was a bit of a savior in that respect because he came in and ruined it, and I was quite thankful for that because maybe the film without the horse wouldn't be so interesting.
Maybe or maybe not, but you mix a lot of very different techniques to create these short films. Do you want to tell us about them?
Sure. So it's the film is shot on this big multiplane. It's about 10 layers or so, and it's a lot of mixed media. I mean, there's paper cutout characters. There's also photographs that I sort of used to collage backgrounds and scenery, and there's also some elements that are painted onto cell and layered on top. So it's a really like mixed media, and it was actually my first sort of exploration into stop motion. I mean, I'd done little like tests before, but never a full film. So it was new to me, and I think that was good. Trying something new, it kept it fresh for me. It kept it exciting, and I could, it was fun to work on. But I also thought this technique sort of lends itself to the film itself because it's all about depth and layers almost. So having the physical, elements there that you're actually looking at, you know that there's something back there that you might be missing out on. So that was important to me, and you get that real sort of tactile texture to it. Sorry, my phone's going. You get that real tactile quality to it, which I really love. And I have a background in painting, so for me that's really important, having that texture and realness to it. I like that.
Yeah. And also the sound design, I think, has a central role in your film. So I don't know, did you create it by yourself?
Yeah. So sound design is all me pretty much, because it was like such a big part of the film.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted that creative control with it. Again, sound design is not something I consider myself to be an expert with, but it's something else that's really fun to play and experiment with. And probably like a lot of time was spent on that sound design. But yeah, all the recordings, it's a mix of my own recordings and found recordings, things like that. But what I would say as well is the place that I was making the film, this little studio at the RCA, I was sort of sat there on my own in the dark in this basement for months and months. So I'm sure that contributed to my madness when I was making stuff. And I took recordings from just my like daily rituals, So the sound of the cafe, that's the studio that I was working in, that sort of hum.
It's also real.
Yeah, I hope that comes through, that it's sort of, it feels like a real place almost. Yeah.
Okay. You said this is your graduated film work. So are you already working on a new short film?
I mean, I've been sort of freelancing and doing
all
sorts of jobs recently. I keep coming up with ideas for films, and I start them, and then they get similar to this film. I go through all the problems I always go through, and self-doubt and everything. So I struggle without having that sort of framework of a producer cracking the whip, or having to make it for my graduation or something. I struggle. So yeah, I do have some ideas for short films that I'd like to to pitch for funding, or if not, I'll just go ahead and make them. But nothing that I can describe at the moment.
Okay,
It's all very it's up in
But-
the air.
Okay, we are so curious to see, to watch your new, not to hear, not just to hear about it. So yeah, we hope to see it in the future, maybe at Lago Film Fest. So thank you so much for your time, and we really hope to have you at the festival. So thank you. Yeah, thank you again, Ollie.
Well, thanks for the questions, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Grazie Ollie per essere stato con noi oggi. Vi ricordiamo che se volete scoprire di più su questo cortometraggio, ma anche sugli altri in concorso, potete visitare lff2021.com. Grazie del vostro tempo.